Alrighty everyone, welcome back. We are just days away from witnessing the box office results for Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny, to really get a rough idea about exactly where this film is going to head in comparison to the box office projections, and exactly what that's going to look like, of course, for people out there like James Mangold, Kathleen Kennedy, PHOEBE Waller-Bridge, that have been endlessly raving about this movie and saying how even at times it's better than the previous three movies, the three original true films. PHOEBE Waller-Bridge even went that far to say that she believes that this movie actually dethrones the original three movies by George and Steven Spielberg. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into exactly what's going on here with Harrison Ford. Now, we know people out there like Harrison Ford are also promoting this movie, but at the same exact time have been slowly but surely becoming a little bit more and more honest about this film and the shenanigans that have been happening behind closed doors. Now, we know that this production was a very tough one. They went through 6 different endings to our knowledge for Indy 5 in total, 2 of which were going to honor the Indiana Jones legacy by exploring very big, respected cameos, such as Shorty, aka Short Round, and stuff around those lines, as well as Henry Jones, the father of Indiana, in a biplane-like aircraft flying off into the sunset. So, on top of this, what's even all the more, depressing has a lot to do with what Harrison Ford had to say about Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny. Now, with Harrison Ford also promoting Indy 5 in order to gain fan interest to see the film come June 30th, he has been becoming more honest lately. He went on to discuss the ending of the film to everybody. He delivered the following: "I just feel we needed to do a ton more for a proper send-off of the franchise. I don't know, they were all asking for my blessing on the ending we chose, and I will warn fans, it's not going to be for everybody. It sort of just doesn't match up to any of the 3 endings. Not even up to Crystal Skull's status, I feel. Something was missing with this one. Sure, we have a heartwarming moment for the 5th film's ending, but what we were supposed to do initially was going to be 100 times more magical in my opinion. I think they really missed a great opportunity here that could have went down as a legendary ending for the Indy franchise. For now, all I will say is that the part of our original vision for the ending was going to focus on family, like Indy's actual bloodline. I will say no further for now. But Kathy really wanted to do something that would pull fans in with a surprise, and something that would also honor Helena." So let me stop here quick for a second. Now, this is all matching up to the leaks that we talked about of how the Indy 5 ending, and spoilers by the way, if you guys don't want to hear them, you might want to back out now, but the Indy 5 ending is a mixture of Helena going off on adventures and taking up the spirit of Indiana Jones and going on her own path, and then basically the other part of the ending is Indiana reuniting with Marion and kind of reconciling with her and kind of reuniting with her, making amends, making things right, whatever have you. And that was basically Kathleen Kennedy's way of really kind of avoiding major fan backlash, of focusing on Helena and her really taking up Indiana Jones' spirit and continuing on to kind of tease an Indy 5 sequel featuring Helena and Teddy. So it's a mixture of that. The original ending, as we discussed, one of them that was very close to becoming final was the same, except in a different matter, where the ending focused on 2 big portions. Both Indiana Jones and, of course, Henry Jones flying off into the sunset in a biplane-like aircraft, except Henry Jones was nothing more than a vision. He wasn't alive, he was just a vision in Indy's mind there, with the Indy theme playing over that. But beforehand, it was going to be a moment where Indy and Helena meet up with, of course, Ke Huy Quan's Shorty, aka Short Round, in China, giving him a map to the Himalayan mountains to discover a new relic. And that was all going to eventually merge itself into one big ending. So what's interesting about this is not only does Ford allude to the original Indy 5 ending that we've been discussing, but he's also alluding to the ending that Kathleen Kennedy chose and how it felt very cheap, how it doesn't really have the true spirit to how a send-off should properly be made for the final film, and he didn't really give it his full blessing. And what's surprising is he goes on to talk about George Lucas. Let's discuss. I don't know if it just didn't really work for me, and I tried discussing this with Mangold, but yeah, we had made some tweaks and we did the best that we could, but I just feel that we missed a major mark with this send-off style. I know George didn't really give us his full blessing on this one, and I sort of agree with him, but look, listen, it is what it is. I can't just sit here and nitpick all day. We did what we had to do, I guess, with this one, and finding that right ending is always going to be a very difficult task for everybody. I'm just saying we had several better ideas in mind that could have resonated better with the audience. It most certainly would have been a different take on the character if the fans would have had to adapt to. So, the fact that we have to adapt to this version of Indiana Jones in Indy 5 is a very bad sign. The fact that Ford has said this, Kathleen Kennedy has said this, even Mangold has said this, that this character, this version of the character, takes some getting used to. It takes a lot of adapting to. And that actually pertains to the spoilers that we talked about of how, yes, Indy 5 is a broken man in this one. Phoebe Waller-Bridge admitted to this just yesterday, about how he's a broken man, and how she lifts his spirits, she's a fixer-upper for Indiana Jones, stuff like that. And it's nothing different than The Last Jedi, let's be honest here. Rey technically does that in The Last Jedi. She brings him back on his feet. You know, she really reminds him of being at such a low. And yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a copy and paste scenario of The Last Jedi, and it's all Kathleen Kennedy. It's all Kathleen Kennedy written over this movie. And it's not a big shocker. Are we really all that surprised at the end of the day? Because I'm not. I'm most certainly am not. So, look, Harrison Ford, I'm sure, knew going in that this was going to have some kind of agenda driven toward the film, and how it really is a Helena story. She calls all the shots. She is the lead in the movie. She's making all the decisions. We've talked about this, and Indiana and Helena, more or less throughout the entirety of the film, just are annoyed at each other. That's basically the spirit of their duo, or that dynamic, if you will, of those two characters, is that they basically are always arguing or have an annoyance toward each other for a great portion of this movie. And let's not forget the fact that there are moments where, or a moment where it does explore Helena's backstory. A big waste of time that does not deserve to be put into an Indiana Jones film. Let's just be clear about that as well. So I would like to hear your take on this below in the comments. You know, what do you think about Harrison Ford's take on the Indy 5 ending, and what do you guys think is the best ending out of the entire Indiana Jones franchise? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.